Good morning traders, Joseph here from Eightcap. Welcome to this week's Trade Zone Asian session update. So appreciate tuning in and your time this morning. So we'll get into it. So obviously we're going to start with Friday. Friday was pretty dramatic end to the week. We're just looking at the USD in front of us now. So we can see there wasn't all smooth sailing on Friday. In terms of safe havens, we can see this extremely sharp move lower that the USD did take until Powell spoke at Jackson Hole, and we saw that very swift turnaround. So it was a strange one actually on Friday, because we did see a real pushback from risk markets at one stage. We saw a lot of buying, and it didn't really look like things were going to end the way they did, but after Powell did have his speech, things did turn around dramatically, and we saw the US dollar really fire back. And the key damage that we saw was on the risk markets, was really on stocks and cryptos. We'll touch on Forex first. So it took a while for Forex to get going. As we can see, we saw that strong move, but by the end of the New York session, we did see some really heavy selling from risk Forex pairs to the USD. Stocks did really turn first, and that did follow on. So we can see that the Euro USD, for instance, had a really strong rally up all the way back up to back above parity before it was sunk later into the New York session, and we saw that small close lower, but the momentum definitely still remains on the seller side, and we can see that this morning with some fresh new lows being put in. Now the pound is trading below. We're just going to jump over to the weekly, so we can see the pound has broken below that low here, and we're trading down to this stage in the morning. We're trading down to that 1.680 area. This is back in those lows that we haven't seen really since Brexit, and back in the COVID, the sell-off that we saw in 2020. So that is the Brexit low down there. We did see that retested during the COVID selling, and we are starting to see now a real push lower again. So I'm not saying it's going to get down there, but yeah, definitely if the US dollar does continue to trade higher and the trend remains firm, could we see the pound start to test those areas again that we have not seen for a fair few years now. So we'll get over onto some of the stock markets. The US indices obviously took a real battering on Friday, as we can see here, as we discussed before, that push higher, and we can just see that move down. So I was actually watching this that night, so we did see a real strong move down, then we did see a pullback, but by the end of the US session we can see that real damage that was done, and this morning we've seen a new gap lower and more selling at this point. So the ASX is obviously down pretty heavily at this stage. When we checked, I just checked it before, it was down 0.73%, but there's a good chance we're going to see further selling and further push down today from that. So basically what happened on Friday was Fed Chair Powell confirmed really what we saw in the minutes, that the Fed still has a very hawkish stance, and that they're prepared to raise interest rates as much as necessary, and even if it does cause economic pain, to get inflation under control. So they really dashed the hopes that the rate cycle could slow down or could be wound back a little bit, or as I did read on a couple of CNBC reports, that there was even an expectation that rates may even go down. But anyway, that's definitely out the door at this point in time, and that we are going to have to live with this continued rate cycle in the US, and with the possibility of higher rates going forward. And that's what really did the damage to the confidence, and really put things back in the corner for the USD and drove traders out of stocks. So the Dow's there. We can see here with the Nasdaq was another very strong move. So the Dow did lose 1,000 points on Friday, which is a very big move down. And the S&P here as well, we can see that let's update that. Incredibly strong move down, followed by today's gap. So we can see trend breaks here. That's a lower high, push lower after that trend break. So we are now starting to say, okay, is this recovery rally over? It does look like it's over right now, but I think fundamentals are definitely steering away from the buyers and not supporting them. So we'll just need to see now if we, after the next counter rally, we do see if it forms a new lower high, pushes down to a new lower low, and if that series continues, then definitely we could be saying that this is done and could be done and dusted. But we do need a little bit more evidence, and we do need the market to confirm that a little bit more before we can really call that at this stage, because that was a very nice rally. And even if we did see even a new point of support down here with a new higher low, it could still say that this trend's in play, but definitely we have to keep the fundamentals in mind that came in on Friday. That could be a real change in momentum. So we'll just have to, I'm just going to wait and see if we do get a new lower, a new rally to lower high and lower low, just to confirm that this trend is in play and underway. So that's what I will be keeping an eye on with stock indexes, and that's really the same across all of them, including say the German 30 and back on the Dow as well. So it's that next counter rally that's going to hopefully answer a couple questions for us. But definitely, even if you can't take a position on the buy side, you could be looking for positions on the sell side. So now, just going to go over to cryptos in a moment. Gold obviously, didn't fare too well. It held up a lot better than some of the other risk markets. We have seen it's still stalling around this point here. There is a touch of demand just in this area here, so definitely keep an eye on that. So oil did start, it did try to get a bit of a rally going on Friday. It wasn't really too much affected. We did see a move back, but it was pulled back. So we're still definitely watching this leg here. We do have a pretty nice trend break at this area here, and we want to see if we can see this demand here that came back in after the shock of Jackson Hole, if that can feed some further buying this week, and if we can see a break of this resistance, which is semi-firm at the moment, and that's seen at that 95.89 point. So a break above this area here, definitely be looking for this to become a new possible uptrend. So keep an eye on that one this week. And just finally, we're just going to, obviously we can see here that the yen, the risk is high to the yen at this stage. It's a bit of a it's a bit of polar opposites compared to the USD. Sorry, that's the dollar CAD. Sorry, a bit of polar opposites at the moment. So we aren't seeing those dramatic sell-offs. So we've had that rally up, and we are seeing a bit of buying this morning. So again, we'll be looking for the Aussie yen to clear this resistance to get this trend back underway. And for the euro and for the pound, there's a similar story. We have this resistance to clear to get this some sort of new rally underway, and the pound as well. It's a lot more choppy on the pound. We do have plenty of support at this area here, but we will need to see a lot more buyer strength push up to this area and break to really signal that there's a move underway. There's the pound yen's pretty choppy at the moment. It's probably worth staying away from it. We have just too much supply being pushed back into the market in these areas here. So on to crypto. Crypto is quite interesting at the moment. The falls weren't as dramatic as we've seen on some of the stock indexes, but we did have breaks, and we are looking now to see if Bitcoin's going to get back down to this 18.6 area, and see if what happens if it does get back down. Then what happens at that area? If we do see support come back in with a new rally back up, or if we do see another push and possibility of a move back down to test that low at 17.796 area, which was really the last real key low of this current move lower. So if we do see a higher low and a bit of a range build up, it could be a positive on the support side. But we'll just have to see if sellers can get back down there. Now I'm not going to cover too many coins. Ethereum's in a similar situation. We're going to see if it can get back down to that low and test it. We did have a good move down on Friday in Ethereum, but again, can it get back to that low and break it to put forward a new move back down to test some of these areas here? But I don't think the carnage is just the selling factor. This wasn't that strong on Friday as compared to some of the stocks, and it's still grinding to a degree. It didn't have that dramatic slam that we did see on the stock indices and some of the currencies to the US. So for the rest of the week, we have another pretty fun week coming up. So the ECB, there is still a lot of speculation if they're going to put rates up by 50 points. The euro is a major consideration, and its position, whether that does happen or not. So there's a bank holiday today in the UK. German prelim CPIs coming out. That's highlighted as a bit of a big one and an important one. And then to end the week on Friday, we have US employment data. So looking for a lower non-farm payroll figure, slightly lower average earnings, and steady unemployment at 3.5%. So if we did see a real strong non-farm payroll figure that beat expectations, that could be damaging as well and continue to put pressure on stock indexes, with showing that possibility inflation is still too strong and the economy maybe is too hot still. So be interesting to see how that comes out on Friday. So that's it for now. We thank you very much for your time. We hope you enjoy your trading week, and again, just keep out and keep up to date with a lot of our socials that are coming out, and the rest of the Trade Zone Week Ahead series that will be coming out today. So again, all the best with your trading this week. Thanks, and bye bye.